In today's video, we're gonna turn one of these Akedo Warrior doubles into a one-of-a-kind custom creation. Currently, we're rushing to complete Japan Series 2.0 so we can bring them to Japan with us and hold our traditional loser stays battles. In order to be featured in the Japan series, the character must originate from the land of the rising sun. And while you might think of Transformers as an American product, they were actually created in Japan. So for our 4th ever Transformer custom and our 5th Japan Series 2.0 Warrior, we'll be making one of your most requested Decepticons, Megatron's second in command.
Never!
That's right, guys. We're finally making Starscream. I really wanted to make him last week, but the fake Lego head that I was planning on using was nowhere to be found. And quite honestly, I'm not even sure I had it to begin with. After seeing it on eBay, I'm positive I never had it. But with a little searching, I found a way better figure to use for parts. I'm just hoping it's the right scale and arrives in time. Otherwise, we're gonna have to make... Inside of this box is a Blokees Defender version Transformers model kit.
That this has to be Grimlock.
Eddie bought a few of these before, but they were a different, larger version, so I never thought of using Blokees for parts. Until I found this by accident on eBay. The listing I purchased came with the jet version of Starscream, as well as the robot version. I can already tell by looking at the parts that this will probably work, but I want to put it together because I think these might be cooler than I thought. The odds of getting Starscream are 1 in 24 boxes, but this version I got is the Galaxy type Starscream, which is a little harder to get, but not as hard as the Coronation Starscream, which I wish I would have known about earlier. I found out a lot later that you can purchase the complete Blokees toy line on the Blokees official website for unbeatable prices. As you can see, the head is perfectly sized for Akedo scale, and I think I can use a bunch of other parts from the figure as well. The feet, torso, and arms won't be needed, but the blasters, legs, upper body, and head will save me a lot of time and make this Starscream custom look professional. And I won't even have to damage this figure to do it. I'll just use the parts to make molds, and from those molds, I'll have an endless supply of Starscream parts. Oh, and guys, I upgraded my homemade pressure pot. I'll show you how it works in just a second. First, we gotta make a batch of super elastic silicone by thoroughly mixing part A with part B at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, I'll secure these in the pressure pot and set the compressor to about 50 psi, which is way higher than my homemade pressure pot could go. While that's curing, let's head inside and get today's starting figure. You know from the thumbnail that I've already selected Stingblade Viper Wraith, but let me show you my reasoning behind the selection. This is a scene from the 1986 Transformers movie.
How do you feel, mighty Megatron?
That's Starscream, kicking Megatron. Kicking.
I rest my case.
In addition to the Stingblade Viper Wraith Warrior, I'm also going to take a left arm from the parts drawer because I don't like the way his arm is attached to his body. So the first thing I'm going to do is replace it. Since the Japan Series Warriors have to fly all the way to Japan and win a battle for a ticket home, they need to be extra strong. With that said, I'm gonna attach this new arm with a metal connector, because the last thing we need is for another warrior to break, like Godzilla and Luffy. Now, I'll grind off all the unwanted details with my Dremel. And just like that, our starting figure is ready for some new parts. For me, this is the trickiest step to making silicone molds. Removing the models from the silicone. The small parts, like the head and blasters, come out easily enough, especially with this super elastic silicone. But the larger irregular shapes need to be carefully cut out. Once the models are removed, we can prepare a batch of resin and fill our new molds. And while they're curing in the pressure pot, let's talk about Starscream's design throughout the generations. As a kid growing up, my favorite cartoon had to be a tie between He-Man and G.I. Joe. But I did watch a lot of Transformers, so the Gen 1 version of Starscream is the way I picture him. I've also seen most of the Transformer movies, and I'm not a huge fan of the new look. Although I think it's really cool that now he turns into an F-22 Raptor. There's also a few other versions of Starscream, but Gen 1 is definitely my favorite. What about you though? Which is your favorite version of Starscream? It's been about 6 hours since I poured the resin, and I can't wait any longer. I gotta see how they turned out. And if removing the models from the molds are my least favorite step, this is my most favorite, because it's so satisfying to see these parts coming out with every little detail transferring over from the original. At this stage of the curing process, the parts have a gummy bear consistency. And I've found that this is the best time to do any cutting. Once the resin cures completely, cutting it with a knife will no longer be an option. And I'll have to resort to using the Dremel, which is really not a problem. But if I have a choice, I'd rather not create resin particles. It took me a little while, but I finally figured out how I wanted to mount each part onto the figure. I think it's turning out really good, but what do you guys think of it so far? Even though I still have some clay work to do, it's very minimal, and it consists mainly of making both feet. And since the right foot is the weapon, it will be significantly larger than the left foot. Filling miscellaneous gaps and smoothing out transitions. And making the cockpit larger by extending it all the way down below the waist. After all that, I still had a big chunk of clay left over, so I decided to make a Decepticon logo to stick onto the base plate. That wraps up fabrication, and even though this paint job will be pretty difficult, I'm really excited to get started because I get to use my favorite primer, gray. I'll also be using gunmetal, magic blue, red, sun yellow, and light gray. And while you watch me paint, I'd like to take some time to thank our channel members. Bailey S, who's been a member for 32 months. Zach987, 31 months a member. Vu Fam, channel member for 26 months. Har E Ling, 12 months. Max Smith, 7 months. Samantha Frank, 6 months. Glenn Baker, 4 months. Cardic Drums, 1 month. And our newest member, Renee H, who joined just a few days ago. Thank you all so much. We appreciate the extra support. And if you haven't already, go check out the members only SpongeBob Topps Chrome opening video I just uploaded. And now back to the painting, which is going fantastic if you haven't noticed. But I forgot all about the Decepticon logos on the wings, so in addition to the other colors I mentioned, throw in purple for the logos on the wings, black for the base plate, and light steel for the base plate logo. Introducing Japan Series 2.0 Warrior number 5. Starscream. No need to battle test him because I already know he's ready. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you want me to make Megatron next, then hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, don't forget to check out the Eddie's World YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos just like this. And don't forget to click subscribe so you can see other great videos every Saturday morning. And hit that bell button so you can get notifications. Thanks for watching.